Welcome to Rein It In. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt. we've been in the Aboke Gorge, Iya River Valley, Aboke area of Japan on Shikoku, which is the smallest of the foreign islands. And actually what we're going to talk about today is the 2 days we spent on Noashima, which is regularly known as one of the Japanese art islands.
Yeah, and we'll also talk a little bit about Port Uno, where we were as sort of our relaxation stopover before we hit Noashima, and then maybe a little bit about we can talk about the train and stuff to Aboke, where we are now.
All right, cool. Let's get the intro, and then we'll get into it.
Okay.
So 5 years ago, we were in Japan, and we mentioned this on a previous podcast. Go back and listen to those if you want to. You could actually go back and listen to all of our podcasts from the first time we came to Japan 5 years ago.
Or many other countries or foods or games or,
lots of stuff in the back catalog. But on that trip 5 years ago, we focused everything around going to Hokkaido and the Tsuruoka jellyfish aquarium. Not zoo, what did I say it was?
Museum. No, it's not a jellyfish museum, it's a jellyfish aquarium, because they're alive. I think a jellyfish museum would just be dead jellyfish, which would not be nearly as exciting.
No, you probably can't really dry jellyfish very well.
I mean, it would just, the biggest part of jellyfish fun is watching them move.
Yeah.
So, a bunch of dead ones would not be great.
No, zombie jellyfish. But yeah, this time we really kind of focused around. We knew we wanted to come south, and I stumbled upon this thing about the Japanese art islands, which actually has been around a lot longer than I realized.
Yeah, since the 60s, we kind of learned as we were there doing our various different art island tourism.
Yeah, and I would say, there's a whole industry around the art islands.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that happens, and I would say that bleeds out all the way into Port Uno.
Yeah, for sure. I think we talked a little bit in our, sort of Osaka episode about how busy we had been and how much we had been running. We may or may not come back and talk about Kyoto and Kobe, overview. Lots of shrines, very pretty. Fun sake breweries, and I don't know, kind of weird red light district. That's all we hit in Kobe.
Yeah. Although what I would say in the Kobe, highly, highly recommend going to a jazz bar.
Oh yeah, the jazz bar was amazing.
I think it's called a Jazu
Jam.
Kisen.
Yeah.
Is the concept. But yeah, Jam was the one we went to. Thank you. Shout out to the Japan 2.0 guys for the recommendation on that.
And that's actually why we went over there. I mean, yeah, we're not going to go over it in detail just because we're running low on time for podcasting in general, but...
And our memories are already gone.
And our memories are already gone.
No.
As Matt said yesterday, we'll remember this until we don't anymore. And that is so true. But if you find yourself in Kobe, definitely Jam, or there's a Spice and Beats, which was an Indian restaurant, 4 seats, lovely experience.
A concept in Japan known as spice curry, which is different than the Japanese curry because it is more like an Indian curry. A little bit slight take on it still. There was some pickled things that you wouldn't actually have, but it was
quail
delicious.
eggs. But yeah, it was quite Indian spiced.
I'm going to take a side moment here and say I really enjoy quail eggs.
Yeah, they're good.
They kind of just show up in some kind of fun places. We haven't quite had enough this time. We had some deep fried quail eggs last time.
Quail eggs on a stick, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had them a fair amount of places.
Yeah.
I bet you could put them in a martini. That'd be weird, but...
That would be weird if you pickled it.
Yeah, I don't like pickled eggs, though. Pickled eggs freak me out.
Understandable. So anyways, we're all over the place here. We're sitting on a patio of the Yokai House, which is supernatural entities museum that's here in the Aboke Gorge, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really pretty. I'm happy we came up here. It was a long trip. We're getting ahead of ourselves because we're skipping Noashima, but we are on this porch. You may get some background noise because of that, because there's a road nearby and there's also trains going by. So apologies if you've got that.
We should probably, what I intended to do that before, just like looking at it, how beautiful this valley is.
Yeah.
Was we should probably talk a little bit about what the art islands are.
Yeah.
A little bit. I know we'll get to that, but let's start on the front side so anybody who's actually made it this far.
Right.
We'll have a little more context.
Yeah.
What would you say about them?
Yeah, I mean, there are more than one art island, and we only went to Noashima. There's also
Teshima, and a bunch
and
I
a
don't
couple of
remember
other
because we
ones.
didn't really look that close at them. We only had so much time.
Yeah, so we spent 2 nights in Noashima at a lovely place called Sparky's House. So shout out to that if you ever go to Noashima.
Yeah, get the little cabin.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
It was adorable. There are, though, like a bunch of museums all built by the same architect that have different kinds of collections. It's all modern art, though, with the exception of like one room of Monet's. I mean, which is still modern. I would say it's all contemporary art rather, historical modernist art. But Impressionism, whatever.
Yeah.
But, as part of this, they've made various different sort of arts things around the island. There's several Yayoi Kusama pumpkins, like near the ocean. There's the public bath that's there, which we're going to have a separate episode on public baths. But the public bath that's there is, focused
Also
around being sort of funky and artistic.
Indian inspired too, though. There's the elephant and the, but basically these islands that, like, I don't think there's a lot of locals. I think probably most of the locals support the
Tourism
community, the tourism.
industry, yeah.
You can tell there were a couple fancier homes that are probably like schmancy folks that have their little resort stay there.
Yeah, definitely. There were some. I mean, they're not mansions, but they're close.
Yeah.
By like small Japantown standards.
But it's just everything around it is art. And then so we'll get back to Port Uno where we started. There was a small ceramics exhibit in the lobby of the hotel, which was actually beautiful.
It was really nice, yeah. And so we ran around in Tokyo and in Osaka doing approximately 20,000 steps a day. And really doing everything that we possibly could, which was great and a lot of fun. But then we were very tired after doing that for 12 days or whatever it was. 10 days maybe.
I did something to my hip.
Oh, yeah. Like, Nat's hip was really sore. I think just like strained a hip flexor.
Yeah.
So we got to Port Uno, and each time we've come here, we've stayed in one kind of like smaller, kind of funky hotel. So last time it was in Tsuruoka.
Oh my gosh,
Sweden Terrace.
Highly recommend that if you're ever going to get up there.
Really nice. And then this time in Port Uno, it was just called Hotel Uno. And, the room was lovely. It came with breakfast.
Very modern hotel.
Yeah, they're both very modern. We had a view of the ocean. I did my yoga on the patio looking at the ocean. I mean, there was also like a yard and a parking lot in between, but whatever, you could see the ocean.
Yeah. Well, the inland sea.
Inland sea, which is still, I mean, the sea is still an ocean, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, it's got tides and shit, right?
Sure.
Listen,
I'm
I'm not a geologist, y'all. I don't even know if a geologist is the right person to say for who studies the tides.
Ask your uncle. Oceanographer.
Oceanographer?
Although that's more about it's about tides and all
I'm
that
not an
shit.
oceanographer.
All right, we got some people around us now too, so we might need to be a little quieter.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was very relaxing. One of the benefits to it was we had access to a really nice public bath that was like 100 yards down the road, right?
And public bath, we keep using public bath. Like there's Sentos, which are sort of like more traditional public baths, which are just like the place where people bathed because they didn't have baths in their homes.
Right.
Because these are old. And then there's sort of these like spas.
And this one was definitely a spa. You could also get massages there. You could sit in hot dirt if you wanted to. We didn't do either of those things.
No.
There was just a relaxation room where you could sit in a little lounger and watch TV.
Yeah. We just took a nap there for like an hour one day.
Yeah, it was really nice. But the baths were great.
Yeah.
So the women's bath had a shower. Obviously, you shower off before you get there. got some music happening.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyways, let's keep going.
oh, it's coming from the train.
Oh, wow.
That's the...
Sorry. You're going to get a little side thing here. There's a train on the other side of the gorge from us, which is maybe a couple hundred feet? No,
Yeah.
more than that, maybe. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the train we took yesterday.
I thought it didn't run on Mondays.
I know. I didn't think so either. Anyways, there's this weird thing where whenever trains go by, people stop and wave. So we're sitting here waving right now. You're getting a strange interlude.
And also, the train is playing very loud music.
Yeah. Did it play this last time, too? And we just
sure
couldn't hear
it
it because
did,
we were
yeah.
inside.
You could buy a CD of the train music on,
Oh, you're
on
right.
the train.
Yeah. Anyways, the train. We took the train here, which I kind of want to talk about it now, but we should wait a little bit.
Yeah, we'll wait a little bit, because I'm still on Uno in
We
the
haven't even
baths.
left Ono, yeah.
Anyway,
We're
the
gonna get back
baths
to it.
at the spa, there were several indoor baths, but mostly there was really nice outdoor baths with
Yeah.
great landscaping. There were 3 little sort of individual pods in the women's area that you could sit in, and then there were also 3 larger baths. There were
Whereas the men had like
trees.
4 medium to large baths outside.
Okay.
And they went warm, hot to really hot.
Oh, okay. I didn't feel like a significant temperature difference in any of them, except for the individual pods, which were a little bit cooler, which made it easier to
Oh, right.
stay
I also
in.
had pods, which are basically just like big, giant ceramic bathtubs.
Yeah.
But they're like circular, round. They're almost like giant barrels.
And these had little headrests.
Yeah,
at
little
least ours
headrests.
did.
Yeah. And then the water just trickles in next to you, so you're gurgle, gurgle, gurgle,
Yeah.
gurgle, gurgle, while you're
It's very
sitting there. It's
pleasant.
like,
So we did that a bunch while we were there. Yeah, Uno was just a chance to catch up and relax, basically.
Yeah.
We had a really nice sushi dinner.
Yeah,
in
actually,
town.
I'm going to interlude on the sushi dinner too. We've had a number of dinners here, and we had some dinners like this last time. Either kaiseki or like semi-kaiseki. They're probably using that term a little bit incorrect, but it's sort of like a seasonal menu. It's the Japanese version of farm to table.
Definitely multiple.
Yeah, multiple
Dishes.
dishes, multiple courses. And when we went to the sushi place, it was not very expensive. We had a meal for 2 with like 2 bottles of sake, like the smaller kind of bottles of sake. And what it was like, $50 or something? Is that what we figured it was? It was like and
It was in
a ton
between
of
50 and
food.
60, but yeah, it was a lot of food.
But the fun thing about that is like you go to a lot of these places, especially in the inns, and you sit down, and part of what they're doing is overwhelming you with like the beauty of all this stuff that's arranged, and it's a lot of little pieces, right? You might
We'll
have just
post
like
pictures
6
on
pieces
Instagram.
of fish, and like just a couple of little pickled things. But they actually brought it to us in individual courses, which has helped us figure out how you do these things. So,
Right, what order we want to eat
Yeah.
the subsequent meals in, because a lot of the time you'll just sit down and it'll all be in front of you, or they'll just bring you a big tray and it will all be on it.
Yeah, and so you kind of start first with the pickle, then you move to the sashimi, and then the one last night had like 12 courses or something.
It was a lot.
But they gave us a separate menu that had a slightly different order, but it was still, they just
Still
had
pretty
more
much the
things.
same, yeah. There was just some more things interspersed.
So I found that sushi place super double helpful because
Yeah.
it gave me some tools. So I would say if you haven't come to Japan, you're thinking about coming, just observe things. There's rules to everything. You can break all those rules as a visitor. Nobody's really going to complain. But few people
At
are
least
probably
not
gonna
to your
complain.
face.
Yeah, right. That's fine. And you're still going to love it if you eat the pickled thing after the nigiri or after the raw fish dish. It's going to be fine. It's still going to taste delicious. But if you watch, there's rules and there's patterns, and you can get them. And so, but you aren't always told them.
Right.
Because it's more effort to try to explain something to someone in English. And it was really nice when you get those experiences where you're like, oh, this is what's going on now.
Right.
Yeah.
Series of small dishes, then sashimi, then egg custard, then,
Yeah. Maybe a fried thing in there.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
oh, right, tempura we had. Anyway,
So, Port Uno, very
Great.
fantastic.
Relaxing.
There was some art galleries around. We didn't go to any of them.
again, Matt's hip needed a
And you had
a break.
2 hours of yoga to do
I had yoga.
for your teacher training.
And the baths were like so
darn
nice that
Yeah.
we just wanted to spend time there, which is
so
perfectly
good.
fine.
And we had an awesome meal there as well. Which, that was one where we got all the dishes, but we didn't get the instructions. So we
Right.
were like, okay, now we know how we do this. And I was
Right.
like, right on. So
Yeah.
that was fun. It was delicious. So should we move on to Noashima?
Noashima.
Another train.
Train.
Oh, this is
Mm-hmm.
an Anpanman train. So famous cartoon character, which if you see the picture, you'll know you've probably seen him before. He's a popular character.
Yeah.
TV show, I think. But anyways, that train was noisier just with train
It was going a lot
noises.
faster, yeah.
Maybe you couldn't hear that, but it was loud enough that we could not hear each other. But yeah, Noashima. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's fine. So we took a ferry to Noashima. It's about 30 minutes, so it's close to Port Uno. And then...
We had like a 7-minute walk to our thing because the island's not real big.
Yeah, it is very small. And in fact, a lot of people ride bikes around the island. And I tried to ride a bike, and I did not succeed. I didn't hurt myself or anything.
You didn't hurt yourself or anybody or anything?
No, and I didn't crash the bike. Everything was fine. It just was like, I'm not comfortable on it.
It was straight out of a comedy series, though. Like, we asked, the person at the place if we could try it first, and Rachel was trying it. She was a little wobbly.
Yeah,
and
very
took
wobbly.
a turn. But you looked in control to me in the turn, but you turned toward not moving cars, but parked cars. And she threw her hands up in the air and was just like, ah! It was like so ridiculous. And then kind of started running around a little bit, and
It was
then
hard because,
grabbed someone else.
It was motorized assist, which I've never used before. B, the seat was way too short, so I couldn't really pedal.
No.
But anyway, we just decided not to do the bikes and to do buses and walking instead. It was a better choice because we were doing something that was at night, and the bike ride back from that thing at night was down a very large hill
With a lot of curves.
and I would not have been comfortable. Even if I had gotten comfortable riding around during the day, I would not have liked that at all.
Without street lights. So it was narrow, curvy, steep.
With not a lot of cars, but there was car traffic as well. We walked down it.
That was a nice walk,
and
actually.
that was fine. But yeah, I'm really glad I wasn't trying to ride a bike down that because, we would have just walked with bikes probably.
Yeah. So, jump in for Noashima here. We should probably take an interlude, but I'll give it the layout of Noashima first. I don't remember the port names. I should look it up. We should take notes before these things. But we came across the Ando Museum there, which was fantastic. And that's sort of in the second part of town, the second middle part. Island is sort of a ovaloid-ish kind of thing. And it looks like back in the 60s, their city plan broke it up into 3 zones. The north zone is industrial, and it looks like there's some Mitsubishi mining up there. And then the central section is kind of 2 port towns that are on opposite sides of the short side of the island. And it was It was like a 30-minute walk between them, but we took the bus. Yeah,
so the port that we stopped at, or that we got off at, is Myanmar.
Yeah.
And then we took the bus, which was a short bus ride to Honmura.
Okay, so that's the middle section, and that's supposed to be the living and culture section.
Right,
And then
so
the
that's where all
south
the
section,
restaurants are, the baths, the grocery stores.
we might have chased some people off. And then, we did. Or their food, they are annoyed by us. They just went inside. Or it's getting humid out here. But
We
anyway,
can't be perfect.
Yeah, that's fine. The south side is the tourism area, which is also where the fancy museums are.
Right, yeah.
We got another train.
It's a little one-car train. I love it. So the south side and it's just a museum district. And in fact, the buses don't go through there. The buses drop you off, and then there's a special shuttle that just takes you to the different museums.
Yeah.
And you can walk or ride a bike. No, you can't ride a bike in between them. You can walk in between them.
You can't ride your bikes,
But there's no bikes. It's just the shuttles.
Walking and shuttle, which is annoying that the shuttles only run every half hour. On top of that,
only
but we
until
were
6 p.m.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that on the second side. We should take a break here and give people a break from our annoyance. We'll come back on the second half later, I think. But that's kind of the breakdown of the island. And each one of we didn't go to the north industrial side, but the middle section and the south section could not have been different.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, quick break.
Yep, quick break.
All right, we're back. We took a couple-hour break ran around, did some things in town here in Oboke. I listened to a little bit of the recording and realized that, wow, the trains were a lot louder for us than they were for you. The microphones did not pick them up at all.
Well, maybe a little bit. I guess, and it depends. Maybe on headphones, so it'll be a little bit louder. But
Sure.
sorry if there are pauses where you're like, I don't know what's going on. That would be us waiting for a train to pass.
Yeah. So we left off. We were talking about the different areas on Noashima, right? So the art island. We only went to the one. What are your thoughts on the difference between the different areas, the different art things? What were some of your favorite pieces?
Well, so the whole reason we went there, I feel like we started at this episode and you were talking about like last time we went north and then we never really explained why we went south.
Oh, right.
So we went south to Noashima, to these art islands, because they happen to have a piece by a guy that we really like, whose name is James Turrell. He's got pieces in a variety of different museums across the U.S. I know we've been to ones in Phoenix and we've been to ones there used to be one in Denver. Mm-hmm. Is that one not there anymore?
It's technically still owned by the Denver Art Museum, but I don't think it's been on display. For a while.
Okay. There's one in Denver. There was one in Denver. There's one in Phoenix that we've been to. There's one in Nashville that we've been to. There's one in Pittsburgh. Well, there's a few in Pittsburgh at the Mattress Factory.
Shout out to the Mattress Factory. Well worth going if you're ever in Pittsburgh.
Yes. So when we found out that on Noashima there was some Turrell exhibits, we decided like, okay, well, we'll make this our point of like sort of like our destination point that we'll build other things around. Just like last time we knew we wanted to go to Hokkaido and then we kind of built the trip around going to the jellyfish aquarium. Mm-hmm. So that's how we ended up in Noashima. Mm-hmm. So we got tickets, the Turrell exhibit, which is called Open Sky. You can see it during the day at the museum.
Just as part of the normal...
Right, just as part of the normal...
admission.
Exhibits, yeah. And then... and there are two other pieces of his there that are... One of them is pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them is fun, but it's the same as is in the Mattress Factory, just a different color. And one of them is really cool, so we'll talk about that in just a second. But you can also get special... tickets to see Open Sky at night, at sunset. Mm-hmm. So we decided that we were going to do that. We did it both Friday and Saturday nights. And
also to kind of give the layer a level of, planning we do. Some of our friends give us a hard time for being planners that plan. Planning a trip to Japan, very helpful. Because it's really just going to help everything go smoother. You're going to save a bunch of money. But true. Also, you are not going to get into some things you maybe want to get into if you don't book them early. There's a lot of people coming to Japan right now.
That's true, like with travel regardless, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you want to go to a museum in Amsterdam, you really got to book that shit. But,
right, but that might be like a couple days, right? Like, I booked this thing like 3 months ago.
Right.
And because they booked up. I mean, I don't know when ours did because we got them the day that they became available. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's not a very large amount of people that go on them. Although I will say, I don't think Saturday night was full.
It may not have been. But it was probably 20-ish people, maybe 25 tops or something, and they do it only on weekends.
Right, yeah. So, but we had tickets for both nights. The first day we were a little bit irritated because we discovered that there was no way to get back. And we also ended up with just like almost 2 hours to kill before it started, where there wasn't anywhere to like go or do anything. Yeah,
all the museums close at like 5 to 6. Mm-hmm. And all the museums, I think we mentioned this a little bit too, are a little bit expensive considering there's not a lot of artwork in most of them. Mm-hmm. And again, we're talking about the southern side. This is the tourist...
Benesse.
It's basically the rich art asshole part of the island.
It's like an art theme park for rich people.
Yeah.
You can stay in a hotel there. The hotel I think runs around $500 a night.
Which ultimately not that bad considering. I mean, it was way more than we were going to spend.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's lovely.
You basically stay in a museum.
Yeah.
The space is amazing.
Yeah.
You basically look into it like an earthworks sculpture.
I think, and there's like a beach one and stuff too.
Yeah.
So like there's different rooms. Go on the website for Benesse, Benesse.
Yeah, right.
And look at the hotel because the rooms look
It's
lovely.
cool to look at.
But like the people that were coming from there were just total douchebags, and so
I wouldn't say not all of them, but enough.
there were some people who really annoyed me.
More than a few. There was a bunch. Traveling in Japan is also another thing, right? You are in a different culture. Again, I mentioned the rules. You can break the rules, but there's certain rules of society that people should know regardless, right? We were on this tiny little bus that only runs like once every half hour, and it was packed full with families and children and elderly people standing up, and two assholes from I think they were speaking German. I think maybe I'm not saying anything about Germans. That just they were Westerners.
European.
They were European. And they were man-spreading, taking up 4 seats along the whole back of the bus. And all these people are standing up. And there was not enough space for people to get on the bus. So I basically stepped on one of the guys to get into the 3rd seat.
Yeah.
And he was just like shrugged and was like, "What do you want me to do?" And I was like, "I want you to close your legs and move over. You're not that big.
Yeah.
Like, be uncomfortable for 15 minutes." So there was a level of annoyance with the privilege and the people not being flexible to traveling in a different situation.
Yeah.
And trying to accommodate other people.
And it's definitely like, I mean, it's just so much, it was just different vibe with the tourists, right? There's a lot of tourists in Kyoto, right? But like, there's a lot of like children's tour groups, and there's a lot of like Asian tourists, like Chinese tourists who are coming different places, and like, you know, so
there's a level of chaos where everybody's sort of in each other's way, but nobody stood out as being
individually irritating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas in Noashima, I was regularly individually irritated.
Yeah, people just like getting in front of you in lines.
Oh God, I had a guy just entirely walk in front of me as I was waiting at a counter to order.
Yeah. His friends, luckily, were like, I think they gave him a look. I didn't hear anything, but he kind of looked around and then moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I did a big like shrug when he walked in front of me. Like I was like, okay, I guess. I'm
standing right in front of a counter. There's a person's width of space between me and the counter, and you just stepped into my space and the counter space to get in front of me. It's like, what are you doing? So that guy, I think, was an American.
Yeah, he was one of the people that I gave a glare to later. He was one of the people in the other Turrell. Anyway,
they were having conversations in a space where you're supposed to be experiencing art. You've come across the world, literally.
Well, and they've asked you to be quiet in the space. Like, verbally requested, the docents of the space have verbally requested that you be quiet. So...
Don't have a conversation.
Don't have a conversation at full volume, please.
Oh, my God. It was like... there's a joke with our friend group that back in college, post-college, we used to go to a lot of ska and punk shows, and some of the ska bands in particular were kind of jerks towards anyone that they conceived as like sort of hippies or not ska cool enough. And I confronted more than a few bands because I had long hair at the time and I worked graveyards, and I would stay up all night and then all day to see these shows. And like, I just felt like one time I got called out for like sitting down. And after the show, I went up and I was like, look, man, here's my story. I came out here to enjoy your show. I don't have the energy. You don't need to shit on me, right? And so, like, my friends made me a punch card for, like, all the, like, fights, quote, never an actual fight that I got into with bands or people in crowds. And Rachel was like, you're going to have to punch your card after this one. But I was a little bit worried I was going to get in a fist fight before we left that island because the level of inconsideration was so incredible. Right. But enough complaining about that.
Yep.
The difference, the southern part of the island is where the art, the rich Disney World for art is. And then through the middle... That's
also the thing that you're going there for, unfortunately.
Yeah, really. But in the middle section, in that other that second port that I don't remember what it was, where the art house project was. There was so much awesome stuff there, and just there were plenty of like tourists from all over, but more Westerners on that island than I think there were
really,
Asian tourists or locals
elsewhere. Certainly more than there were in Kyoto.
But there was such a better vibe in that part of town. Like, people just seemed genuinely interested and engaged in these, like, weird art spaces that were created.
Because there's another Turrell over there. And, like, and that one is, you know, a little bit more, it's totally dark when you go in. So it's a little bit more dramatic. Like, I think it would be, you know, and people were kind of talking and like shuffling around as they got settled, which was fine. And then, you know, once everybody was settled, it was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
That was a very, sort of different crowd. And just in general that, the place with all the art houses, it had like a bunch of little restaurants. It had like other kind of cool things going on. The area that we were staying in, which is kind of the main port, definitely felt more like tourist outpost, right? Like that's where you go. That's where you all get off the shuttle or ferry. That's where everybody rents their bike.
Yeah.
As soon as they get there, that's where like the 7-Eleven on the island is.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's got a lot of we went to the grocery store there, and we went to like a dollar store. We bought a knife for 75
The dollar store
cents.
was in the upstairs of the grocery store.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
So like then when we got to the other area, that felt like the funkier kind of.
Yeah.
Like it was less. I mean, all the restaurants and stuff are still there catering to tourists, obviously, but it felt less like, okay, this is just like, we know we're going to get a flood of people off a ferry, and that we're going to have to accommodate them with like bikes and like, you know, cheap meals and, you know, whatever else.
Yeah, it was like that other part, that second port, because there is a port there too, technically. We could have gone there, but I think you're right. Almost everybody goes to the main port. I would call it the main port, because that's where, again, you said all the rental places. It was basically, it was like getting off on, you could be on any island in any country probably. You got off the ferry, there was like 5 places that rented scooters and bicycles and cars, and then like a couple of restaurants all there, and then it was like some hotels a little past that, and not even big ones, but that other part of town where the art houses were, like it just had such a good vibe. You walked around this old sort of community where they've converted into this thing, and again, we talked a little bit earlier in the first half. I was surprised. So Japan, famously or infamously, losing population, has been for a while, especially in the rural communities. They have all these towns that are just drying up. We saw some scarecrow towns on the way here on the train on Shikoku, and there's not a lot of people living in the rural spaces.
Yeah.
And so some communities are trying to find really unique ways of revitalizing things. Some cool things too. Wouldn't say this isn't outside of my realm of fantasy future world, is like some of these small towns that are semi in the tourist path have programs where they're like, we'll build you a space to build your store or your brewery or your restaurant.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, the community is investing in people to bring some sort of business that will draw other people to it.
And I think the same thing is kind of happening in Oboke with the yokai, right? Like, they made a conscious decision at one point to like celebrate these like ghost/goblin kind of like yokai are the regional monsters of Japan, as opposed to they're the cryptids, right, of Japan. But there's a yokai museum here, and there's like all these statues that you can go around and find, and like that's definitely a thing that's like, okay, let's make this a destination.
Well, it's honestly a little bit, it's not that different than like, for anybody of our listeners that have lived in Atlanta area, Helen is this weird town that I think was like a mining town that dried up, and in some point in the like last 4 or 5 decades, well, probably 3 or 4 decades, they were like, we're going to die if we don't do something. So they recreated themselves as this weird German village.
It's so strange.
It's very strange, but it brings people in, and
Yeah.
it has kept some sort of community going on there.
Yeah.
And they have an identity, or even, maybe even I'd see even like Cripple Creek and some of that stuff in
That's gambling,
Colorado.
yeah,
I know the
but-
gambling is what they brought in, but it's they
But that is, absolutely what made it a
they made a choice to
destination.
make it some sort of destination, which
Yeah.
is something weird, right?
Right.
So, and that's I thought that's kind of what these art islands were. Was like more recently they were falling apart. Sorry, like their populations were drying up and they needed to do something, but it was like as early as the mid '60s they had decided that they were going to do these things, and then most of these art museums were all built in the like 2010 kind of time frame.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Does this highball that we're drinking taste anything like whiskey?
No, it doesn't.
I wonder what the alcohol is that's in here.
Is it a Chuhai?
Maybe.
It does say Chuhai, actually.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, in the bottom here. Chuhai. I don't know what that first thing is. Sorry. Something.
Oh, yeah, it does say Chuhai.
Something
oh,
Ro Chuhai.
Sorry, I thought I had bought us whiskey highballs, and instead I bought soju highballs, which is actually much more what I
Actually wanted.
anyway.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
So score on that one. They were $2 each.
Yeah. It is. It is raining and so cloudy that you can't see the other side of the valley right now, and it's a few hundred feet away, like you mentioned earlier.
Anyway,
it's gorgeous. Art islands. So let's wrap it up. Let's talk about a couple of the great pieces.
Yeah. So in terms of the things that we really liked that we saw,
Yeah.
all the Turrells. There's one
Fantastic
in
Turrells.
There's one in the city, in the Hanmura,
Hanmura
art
house project.
art house project.
You do need to get a time ticket. There was another time ticket house that we couldn't get into because all of them were gone for the day.
Yeah. So do some research on that. Which of the houses you need time tickets for?
Yeah. Also go to the water plan.
That one was free to get into.
It was also awesome. I love that it was free to get into.
Yeah. It was really cool, though. It just talked about like the sort of way that houses have been structured on this island for a long time in order to take advantage of the winds to cool the houses, and then they had also like
the way the water flows.
and they talked about like how everybody used to have their own wells, and then they had created this like sort of house with a well in it, right?
Yeah. I thought that was fun too because again that was in like the 2015 or something, 17. I forget what year but they did a few years of research and realized that all these houses. So they basically relearned how people do things. It's one of the things I do love is like we think we're all cool and smart and amazing, but people in the past figured out ways to do things that we just aren't as good at, partially because they had a lot more time on their hands.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting because like we just rely on like not AI, right, to do a lot of work for us.
Yeah.
Even before like this like sort of like whatever that we have going on right now, but just like computational power, right?
Yeah.
We rely on artificial intelligence to do our computational power, and so therefore we assume that historically people were not able to compute these things when they were perfectly capable of doing it.
Yeah, trial and error. They were like, oh, if we all face our things north-south and the wind comes down the mountain from the north, we will get awesome breezes in this jungle climate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we put our water in here and it's going to come across the water and it's going to make it cooler. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that one was a great space.
That was good.
Yeah.
The art houses just in general were like a range of like less to more interesting.
The Ando Museum too in that area was fantastic.
And Ando is the architect who basically built all of the museums.
A lot, yeah.
Well, not all of the art houses, but he built the Chichu, he built the Venice, he built the Li Ufan, and then
I was not familiar with him. I still don't know his full name, but I will say I loved that museum and seeing the stuff that he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like all of them were all of them were constructed of the same materials, but they all took advantage of space in super interesting ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it really worked, like, with the Turrell, and even it really worked with the water lilies that were in
the water lilies.
the Chi-Chu. Like, because we've all seen, well, I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of Impressionism.
Yeah. And we've seen, like, privilege warning, right? We travel and we go to art museums and we eat. Like, those are the things we do with our free time, so...
We've seen a lot of art museums.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of art museums.
We've seen a lot of Impressionism.
And we've seen a lot of Monet water lilies.
Right. In a lot of different cities, in a lot of different countries. And so you're sort of like, whatever, you know.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah.
But because of the architecture of the room, it was a very unique experience. It was also the only time that I've ever been in a room with looking at Impressionist paintings where I was the only person in that room.
Right.
Because usually a European museum, right, there's
going to be a bunch of people around shuffling, taking pictures.
Going to be packed, right?
You couldn't take pictures in most of the art museums, which I realized. Okay. So I was annoyed by how expensive a lot of the art stuff was because there wasn't a lot of art in some of them. Mm-hmm. But they were catering to it wasn't even that expensive, right? It was like $10 to get into a museum, which is nothing from the West.
But they were small museums.
Yeah, right. And it was about the architecture.
Maybe you spend $25 to get into the High Museum, but you can spend 8 hours there.
Yeah, and you're going to go here and you're going to see 20 pieces of artwork for $10.
Yeah.
And some of them were well worth it. Like the Chi-Chu, I think the space is just so interesting. Mm-hmm. The Benesse, too, was very interesting. We can't spend forever talking about it.
Right.
But I was a little bit not annoyed by the no pictures, but I think the no pictures was probably because it forces you to engage with them. It's like bands that say, don't record us. Yeah. Some of them are saying that because they don't want you to pirate their stuff and put it on, streaming sites. But some of them are doing it because they want you to actually engage with them while you're there. And there was nobody just like selfieing in these places because you can't.
Right. Yeah. And people were actually following. I was worried because in the Turrell that was in one of the art houses, it's almost entirely black. So if you've ever been to the Pleiades one at the Mattress Factory,
I've been there twice. I've still not seen anything.
The last couple times the line has been really long. I would really like to go back, but this one you could definitely see something after your eyes adjusted.
Yeah.
But they were like, turn off your phones, not like.
Yeah, well, like if you have watches,
them, like,
if your watches glow, put them away.
And I was really worried that people weren't going to follow that. But they did, or at least it seemed to. Like, the woman in front of me, I could see her turning off her smartwatch. Mm-hmm. And that I really appreciated. Again, that was not in the sort of amusement park area. I don't know that people in their Louis Vuitton jeans would have been so gracious, but maybe I'm just a dick.
Oh, we did talk about this, right? It took work to get to the other part of town.
Yeah.
It did not take any work to get to it took some work because the shuttle didn't run very often in the amusement park area.
But you could walk in between everything there.
It would take a while, but it was nice to walk, and there was art outside in all the places.
Yeah,
but I think it took more effort to get to that other art house area.
Right. Yeah, because you could easily go and stay in the Benesse house and
never go to the rest of the place.
Never go to the rest of the island.
Yeah, they pick you up at the ferry.
Yep.
They take you there. They drive you specifically to the Turrell. They pick you up after the Turrell. The only shuttle from the nighttime Turrell is for the people who stay in this $500 night hotel.
Right.
Otherwise, it's a big GFL.
Yeah, I mean, and we did have to walk home. It was about 30 to 35 minutes in the dark. I mean, and it was okay.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the front, but yeah.
I happened to have a flashlight with me, which I was happy with, especially the first night. I mean, and like, it didn't seem too sketchy or anything, but I was just happy to have a light in case there were cars,
Something reasonably large was moving around in the bushes. I think it was probably
a cat.
It could have been a cat, but they said there's boars and tanuki on there, which are like the raccoon dogs. I don't think it was either of those. Could have just been a rat, honestly. But
there were a bunch of stray cats, though.
Stray cats on the other side.
One really adorable cat that hung out around the ticket office. Who had a collar.
Right.
So he was He was somebody's.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
what do you think?
the trails are
Turrell's
amazing.
awesome.
Matt really liked. We both really liked the Ando Museum because of this one room where you went in, and the way that the architecture worked made you almost fall over.
Yeah.
We watched someone else walk into that room while we were in there, and she tripped and stumbled. It also messed with your. It's a small room.
It's a very small room.
And it messed with your perspective so much that I was like, that Matt looked tiny when I was walking into the room. Like it was just like a really, really cool architectural
And
mindfuck.
all
It
is
was great.
basically like a circular room that was probably 8 feet across.
Yeah, that was really cool. So,
Yeah, fantastic.
And the other one, the Turrell, where the guys were talking, that one, the first time we went through it, you walk up these set of stairs into this like
Light
kind
space.
of void, right? And as you get to the top of the stairs, like there's a docent in the room who's like, no, you can actually step into this void. And the guy next to me, that time just like whispered to his, whoever else he was there with, like, is this real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it felt like you really were stepping into a different realm. It was so cool. And then when we went back to try to like appreciate
Recreate
it
it.
again,
Yeah.
like the douchebags were there and they were just like, they just hiked up those stairs and walked in and started talking. And I was
The same
like,
guy that walked in front of Rachel at the counter, and the same guys that were like, we were at a cafe in the museum for a while, and a bunch of us were sitting along this wall. They had these little cushions you could take, sit on the cushions. You got this great view of the sea and the islands.
And it was in the shade.
And it was in the shade. And then there was like another area that had tables where these three guys were all talking very loud in the sun. And they came back and they're like, don't people know there's tables down there? And we're like, well, we don't actually want to listen to you all talk, and we'd like to sit in the shade and just be chill.
Yeah.
It was so nice. Everybody was just relaxed. It was wonderful. So
I
I
was
would
really
say,
worried those guys were going to be at the evening Turrell, and they weren't, and I was very relieved.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can see that. So wrap up of Noashima, though.
Yeah.
I would say, to me, it was a tale of two islands.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would recommend someone go to it.
I think the Turrells, if you are a fan of James Turrell,
Or architecture and whoever, Ando, whoever.
or architecture,
Yeah.
I would recommend it. I do think the Turrells were great.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't do this. You could maybe like not stay on the island and like just sneak in for the day, but I think that would be pretty challenging.
Yeah, we were there 2 days. If you
Yeah.
go, you need 2 days. Because we needed a day to like get acclimated. We went to the art bath.
Oh yeah, that was nice
We just
too.
kind of chilled out a little bit. You need enough time because the island is not real big, but it takes a long time to get around because the public transit doesn't happen as frequently. Or you ride a bike.
If you can't ride a bike, right?
Yeah.
If you are a person who can ride a bike, then it probably goes quicker. But
Yeah, I could see that.
but like, I'm happy we spent 2 nights there. I would
Yeah.
say like if you're really interested in contemporary architecture or you're really interested in James Turrell, go there.
Do it. Yeah.
If you're not super into either of those things,
If you're-
there's better places you could spend your time in
Yeah,
Japan.
even if you're way into Yayoi Kasumi, I'm getting some of this wrong. 2 pumpkins.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right. Yeah,
Like
that's
you're
all
better
she's got.
off to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're
You're better off going to Mattress Factory.
You're better off going to the Mattress Factory ones are like early, I think, and feel a little run down.
You do feel a little more-
But they are there. You'd be better off going to any place where she has traveling exhibits going on.
For sure.
Even James Turrell, I'd say, if you can, although there were, these were Turrells we've not seen.
The Open Sky was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And I was
Although I would
happy we
also
went
say-
twice. Like, because I've seen other ones like that, but like the way that the evening program at Open
Yeah.
Sky functioned was that the lighting in the interior of the space was constantly changing.
Yeah.
And the way that the light inside,
So interesting.
the way that your eyes reacted to it,
Yeah.
the sky constantly changed to different contrasting colors, even though the sky wasn't changing color.
Yeah.
And so that was very cool.
So this is going to be so annoying to anybody who is actually into James Turrell that might be listening to this. I don't know any of the any of the names of his pieces. We've been a fan of his for like 25 years since we saw the first one in Denver. I think my brother and I saw it the first time, and it was awesome. And he's got I would say, groups of work that are of similarities. There's sort of an aperture in the sky, and that's where we've seen one in Nashville. We saw one in Scottsdale,
Phoenix.
Arizona outside Phoenix, and this one here. It's an aperture. You're basically just looking at the sky, and the color and the artwork is how the sky looks at that time, and it's going to be different every time. He has another one, which is the first piece we both saw of his, which is basically a big rectangle on the wall that you walk into an almost black room, and your eyes adjust, and you slowly see this big rectangle floating. You can walk up to the rectangle that's floating, and it actually turns out to be another room that's in another space.
And it feels like you're moving into
it. And
an imaginary space or a void it's
yeah,
just like...
it's hard to explain.
It confuses your brain in a very delightful way.
And so that's another one where we've seen now 3 variations of. Normally you just go and you do that, but the one that he had an Ando collaboration at the art house was that concept, but a little bit different. It had some smells, it had some temperature changes that I haven't seen at the other ones. And then the one we walked into is also a variation of that, which is the purple square, basically.
Right.
And then he has other ones that are like floating cube, floating thing, which is really just light. And then I would say there's a miscellaneous category, which is like other stuff.
Right.
Which would be Pleiades. And so this one had kind of examples of those, not the Pleiades one.
Right.
Really good.
The art house one is reminiscent of Pleiades because it is just so dark.
Oh, it is so much darker. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Anyway, we don't need to. So yes, I think
this is going to be a long one.
I think if you're into Turrell, if you're into contemporary architecture, go. If you're not, there's other better places to spend your time in Japan.
Oh, right. Yeah. See plenty of other places in Japan. I'd be hard pressed to come back to Noashima. I absolutely enjoyed our time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I would come back to this area of the country. I would certainly, I think, explore Shikoku more. I feel like the 2 hours that we spent in Okayama was not enough.
No, that was kind of a cute town.
It was a really beautiful garden. There's a great castle. I would go back and spend more time there.
Yeah. And Port Uno, that hotel and the spa we went to was just fantastic.
So nice. So I'm really happy that Noashima became the destination because it's led us to such other cool places around it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's just where we'll
I know. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to get very many pictures of these because, rightfully, they don't let you take pictures of them. Yeah. But I would recommend go look up James Turrell on the internet. Type in Ando architecture.
Ando, Japanese architect.
Figure out his last name or first name. Well, probably his first name. And interesting stuff. I'm going to look for him now.
Yeah. I'll definitely look to see if there's other buildings or museums that he's designed in the U.S.
Yeah. And if you come to Japan, get off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of stuff in the weird cities. Not weird cities, but the cities that aren't on the main path.
It can be a little bit more of a challenge, but
well worth it.
It's worth it.
All right, we're gonna go work on some dinner.
What random fish is this?
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for listening to Rain It In, Matt and Rachel. You can check us out on Instagram at rainedin_podcast or Facebook at rainedinpodcast. We encourage you to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast app, or you can listen direct at anchor.fm/rainedin. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day.